Hi, my name is Eli Halliwell, and I'm the CEO of Hairstory. I'm creating a series of videos to help hairdressers understand how to navigate the CARES Act and specifically the PPP. This video is made for people who are independent contractors, sole proprietors, even self-employed people who have their own corporate entity, that you have an entity. That's the idea that I'm making this video for. So why is the PPP important and what does it mean for you and why does it exist? Well, the PPP is a government program that was created to make sure that people who are not able to work can have money in their pocket to pay for their lives. And you clearly have been affected as a hairdresser. The goal is to give you money to feed your family, to pay your rent, to do everything else. And they've opened it up pretty broadly to people who in the past maybe wouldn't have qualified as a small business because they're independent. The good news is this is meant for you. It doesn't mean it's going to be easy to get. You're going to have to work a little harder than someone who has a typical business, but I think that you'll be able to make it work. What assumptions do I have? The main assumptions here are, number one, that you have some form of corporate entity, and that's going to make it a lot easier for you. Number two is that, so what does that mean? It means that you have an LLC, an S Corp, something like that. The second assumption is that you have a way of tracking your income, the money coming in. So you have Square, you can look at your bank account and you can see deposits coming in, you have Venmo. You need some way to document how much money has been coming in over different periods of time. Number three is that you pay some sort of rent, right? That's an assumption here too. You also, I'm assuming some of you are going to be paying utilities, not all of you. If you're a renter and you rent a chair, then you won't be able to. But I'm assuming that you're paying utilities. And the last assumption is that you were in business last year. If you just started, as long as you were in business as of Feb 15, you'll be okay, but it's a slightly different process. So do you qualify for the PPP loan? The answer is yes, and that is fantastic. There are no collateral required. There is no collateral required. There are no personal guarantees required. And as far as I know, there are no credit checks. When can you apply? You can apply as of April 3rd, so yesterday, and you can apply all the way through June 30th. So you've got some time. After that, you won't be able to apply anymore. I guess the next question is, how do you calculate your loan? Well, you're going to need to look at all the income that you've earned. The typical way that the form says is it says what payroll. And clearly, I'm guessing you aren't paying yourself a salary. Some of you may be, and that's smart and great that you've been doing it, but a lot of people haven't been. So you're going to need a proxy for your payroll. And what that means, in my mind, and I think it'll work with the banks, is all the money that has come in, all of your sales for your services, and that's why you need the Square account or some way to document how much money has been coming in. You're going to also be able to add in any taxes you pay on payroll taxes, that kind of stuff, and Social Security, that kind of thing. I think Social Security counts, but all the extras on top. And then if you have a Roth IRA or something else, then you're putting into that, or you have health insurance that you pay for out of pocket yourself, then you can count that as well, which is great. You're going to take the entire year of last year, look at the sum of all the money you made and all those taxes and all the benefits. You're going to divide it by 12, and that gives you an average monthly income. That's the key number that you need here. And then you're going to take that number and multiply it by 2.5. That's going to be how much you're eligible for as a loan. So let me walk you through an example. Let's just say that your income from all of your services and everything else, all the things I just discussed, is on average $5,000 a month. And you get tips also, $1,000 a month from tips that you've reported. This all has to fit with what you've reported to the IRS in the past. Generally, it has to be ballpark about the same. So that's $6,000 of monthly income. And take that, multiply it by 2.5, and you get $15,000. So that means the government is going to give you $15,000 through this PPP loan opportunity. How can you spend that money? Well, you can spend it any way you want, but if you want to have the $15,000 or a large portion of it forgiven, then you're going to need to document it, and you're going to need to spend it on ways that the government wants you to spend it, which is they want you to spend it on paying yourself. So you're going to have to write yourself a check that is the equivalent for each month of what you said your average monthly earnings were. So write yourself a check every month for the 2 months, for the 8 weeks. And then you're going to also need to pay any rent that you pay for your chair or your suite, or if you have your own space. That rent is also going to be count towards your forgiveness. It's not your home rent, right? This is for your business. And then if you actually own the building, then any interest, mortgage interest, you can count that too, plus any utilities. So if you rent a boot chair, you probably don't pay utilities, but if you have your own physical space with a lease, then you may have your own utilities that you have to pay to. You want to add all these up for the 8-week period after you get the loan. So you get the loan and you have basically 8 weeks to spend it. And anything after those 8 weeks is not going to count towards your forgiveness. So you have to spend it quickly. That's what they want. Some people have fired themselves. Some people have gone on unemployment. And I think that makes a lot of sense. But I think that the PPP is going to end up being maybe more money. And so if that's what you want to do, if you want the PPP instead of unemployment, you're going to have to rehire yourself by April 26th. That's important. So let me walk through an example of how this would work. 2 months of income is $5,000 plus the tips. So $6,000, that's $12,000 of income that you can have forgiven from the 15 of the loan. Plus, let's say you're spending $1,000 a month in rent. So either renting a chair or renting a space or renting a suite. That is an extra $2,000. So now we're at $14,000. And that is the forgivable portion out of the $15,000. That leaves $1,000 left over. So what happens with that $1,000 that's left over? Well, that balance of $1,000 becomes a normal loan. And you have no need to make any payments on it for 6 months. And after that, it accrues interest, or I guess it probably accrues interest the whole time, but you don't have to pay. It accrues interest at a very low interest rate. It's unclear to me whether it's 1% or 4%, but the loan is due after 2 years. My guess is a lot of people are going to say, oh, I don't need this loan anymore for $1,000. I'm glad I got to write down and be forgiven for $14,000 out of $15,000. And you can just prepay it and just give the money back to the bank. No penalties, nothing, and you're all done. So what documentation are you going to need? What certifications are you going to need? You're going to need to figure out a way to document your income. That's going to be probably the hardest part. And then you're going to need to be able to document how you spent the money, in particular, paying yourself, right? And again, that all has to tie into the level you're asking for, and saying that you earn on a monthly basis needs to tie into what you've been reporting to the IRS. You're going to need to certify that you are experiencing hardship from this crisis. And you're going to need to document, as I said, how to spend the money. Here's the key. You cannot lie. If you lie, they're going to find out and they're going to prosecute you, because they do not want to be giving huge amounts of money like this out to people and having them steal it when other people have huge amount of need. Do not lie. Where do you apply? So this is particularly tough for a lot of people that are independent and self-employed or small business people like you. Supposedly, you're supposed to be able to apply through any FDIC-insured institution, like a bank. A lot of banks are now saying that unless you've had a business account with them for a period of time, that they won't file the application for you. And some are actually saying, even if you have, that if you haven't had a loan in the past, that they're not going to file it. I think that is unacceptable, and that you need to scream and kick and fight to try to get your bank to represent you appropriately and accept your application. So do not accept no for an answer. This is a real form of discrimination that is unacceptable. So keep fighting for yourself. The last thing I wanted to share, we have an online forum called The Break Room, and we just launched it. It's a place for hairdressers to come and share and learn and help each other grow personally and professionally. I'm really excited about it. The energy has been incredible. People have been really supportive. There's tons of documentation there around all of this CARES Act. These videos are going to live there as well. And I think you should check it out. The URL is right here. It's the-break-room.mn.co/feed. So check us out, and I wish you the best of luck. Thank you very much. Be well.